So this is the third episode or third recording in the identity crafting series. If you haven't listened to the first two parts, I highly recommend you listen to those before you get started listening to this one. This won't really make sense if you don't listen to the first two parts. In the first episode or the first recording, we talked briefly about visualization, the importance of visualization, and how to use this document to visualize your ideal identity. And we also talked about listing out what your North Star is, your North Star mission or purpose in life, and then in a few sentences, creating a little story around your North Star. In the second recording, we talked about listing out your ideal identity in as many categories and avenues and areas of life that you can think of. Whether that be spiritual, mindset, health, fitness, career, wealth, lifestyle, travel, anything that you can think of. Listing out your ideal characteristics, your ideal character traits in every single category that you can think of. This is a personal process. So I said in the last recording, take some time to figure out what categories are important to you, what you think is important to get clear about. And like I said, listing out who it is you want to be, who it is you see yourself becoming, your ideal identity, and just who they are in each category. In addition to listing out your character traits, your ideal character traits, I spoke about getting images from Google Images or from Pinterest and dragging images that really resonate with you under each category. So for example, let's say you have a category for health or fitness. In addition to listing out certain character traits and ideal character traits, who you see yourself becoming in that category and what is important to you within that category, you would go select a few images that really resonate with you. So maybe it'll be a picture of your ideal body, for example, and you'd put it in that category. And you do that for every single category that you've listed out and clearly defined. So that is just a brief introduction of what we did in the first two recordings. In this recording, we are going to create an example scene that you can visualize, or a perfect day in your dream life or ideal identity that you would live as your ideal self. And we are going to put ourselves into fulfillment. Now, just to keep in mind, if you don't do the first two steps, so listen to the first two recordings, this won't make sense. If you intend to visualize while feeling as though you are the person you are now rather than the person you see yourself becoming, this process will not be effective. Our whole goal here is to visualize thinking from fulfillment, thinking from your ideal identity. And in order to do that, we must first get clear on who this person is and what they're like, so we can really see ourselves as this person before entering into the visualization. So after taking some time and doing the first two steps, so getting clear on what your North Star is, your mission or your purpose, as well as clearly defining in as many categories as you would like and in as many categories as you think is important, who this person is, how they operate, who they are as an individual, their identity, we are going to create an example scene or a perfect day in the life of your ideal self. What would imply you are living as this person now? What would imply fulfillment for you? Write it out or type it out and then mentally put yourself there by visualizing it. Feel the fulfillment. You are now in possession of whatever it is you want. Whatever it is you want, experience it. Experience the feeling of it. Experience it being yours right now in this moment. And we're going to do that within your scene. And keep in mind that this scene should imply in as much detail as you possibly can that you have the things that you want. So keeping your ideal identity in mind, everything that you just listed out in a few pages, what kind of scene would imply you are that person? So visualize what your scene entails and make it about 30 seconds to a minute long max. So what would happen in this scene? List out in as much detail as you can. Detail. Make it feel real. Make it real. Put yourself there mentally. It won't work if you are visualizing your current self in your scene. you need to be visualizing from the point of view of the most ideal version of you, the person who has the things that you want. And that's why it's so key to get crystal clear about who this person actually is and what they do, their character traits, what they look like, etc., because you are visualizing your scene from the point of view of them. Keep in mind that this person is still you. Your ideal identity, your dream version of yourself is still you. It's still you. It's just you having the things that you want to have and the version of you that you want to be. It's still you. It should feel natural when you visualize from the upgraded version of you because it's still you. Once you get clear about who this person actually is, it will feel natural because it's still you. People put their desires on a pedestal and they think that it's so out of this world. But in reality, once you visualize and see yourself being the person you want to be, having the things that you want to have, it's no one else experiencing it but you. You can put yourself into a scene like we're going to do now that makes it feel as though you are the person you want to be, and you can feel the emotions of gratitude and everything that comes with the feeling of fulfillment. And then you realize that it was you visualizing. It was you in that scene. It's nobody else. So that's why it should feel natural when you put yourself there mentally. So essentially what we're doing with this example scene is we're creating a mental movie. We're creating a mental movie of what it is you want and what would imply you are the person that you've already gotten clear about in the last recording. Now keep in mind, you are the author here. So create a story based on your ideal character. The ideal character who is still you, who you've made up. We're creating a story, a short paragraph, a couple sentences that would imply you are this person. So think of yourself as the director and the author of your movie. And you are also the main character of this movie. You've gotten clear about the character traits that this character has, who this person is, what they look like, and everything that you would want this character to be. Now create a scene or a perfect day that would imply you are this person, thinking from your ideal. So as an example, we're going to continue with the Rachel example. If you've been listening to the other episodes in the series, you know Rachel by now. So a scene that implies Rachel is a successful business owner living in her dream house with an oceanfront view. That's the example, a scene that we're going to go by. Rachel just closed a new client and is celebrating with her friends and family. Rachel wakes up at 7 a.m. She opens her eyes and looks out the floor-to-ceiling windows across her bedroom in her brand new oceanfront home. Get specific about where the home is, the location. She wakes up next to her partner and takes a minute to express how grateful she is for this beautiful day ahead of her. Before getting out of bed and planting her feet on her brand new fur carpet, she reaches over her night table to take a sip of water. She gets out of bed and goes outside on the balcony and breathes in the fresh, crisp ocean air and thinks about how blessed she is. Rachel does a short meditation on the balcony, as well as some yoga, and thinks about her plans for the upcoming day. She goes inside and checks her email. She sees that she has multiple calls planned for potential clients for her business. Rachel does a quick visualization and sees herself providing value to these potential clients and her business growing. Rachel is confident and plans to make this much money this month. The best month in her business yet, after successfully reaching her revenue goal for last month. Rachel hops in a cold shower to refresh herself before she gets started for her day. Her partner wakes up, and together they make a nice nutritional breakfast together. What kind of food are you eating? Rachel goes for a long stroll, gets some sun, and while doing so calls one of her best friends. Rachel has such an incredible social circle of people who really value Rachel and value everything that Rachel does for them. They understand that Rachel provides so much value to her friend group that all they want to do is give back to Rachel and support her in any way they possibly can. After her walk and phone call with her friend, Rachel heads back home to do some work. Rachel checks her emails, hops on a few calls, and attends a workout class downtown in her city. Everybody in the workout class is familiar with Rachel, wants to be friends with Rachel, and admires how motivated Rachel is to be fit and to embody a healthy lifestyle. Rachel goes home. Her family and friends arrive, and right as she opens the door to welcome them in, they congratulate her on her business success. She instantly feels the emotions of gratitude as she embraces her family and friends, and they laugh and have a toast on the balcony. End scene. Once you actually have your North Star and then you figured out in as many areas as possible, you've gotten clear in as many areas as possible who this person is, your identity, your dream identity, you're going to take that and put it into an example scene. And then visualize this scene. So mentally think about what your ideal would be like living as the most ideal version of yourself, the highest, most upgraded version of you. And notice that when I did this example, you can see how detailed and descriptive I am. You want to emphasize feeling the emotions of how you want to feel within your specific scene, which again implies you have already done what you want to do and are already the person you want to be. It's important to note that you should have key markers, is what I like to call them, within the scene. And key markers are basically just markers within the scene that are extra important for you to feel real when you're visualizing. So feel everything as real within your specific scene, but it's especially important for you to feel these things when key markers come up. So in the example above, I said, I wake up next to my partner and take a minute to express how grateful I am for the beautiful day ahead of me. Like, that's a key marker. Feel grateful while visualizing this specific thing within your scene. Another one is, I get out of bed, I go outside on the balcony and breathe in the crisp, fresh ocean air, and I think about how blessed I am. Feel this as real in your scene. So whenever you have a key marker where you can actually feel the emotions of gratitude, for example, feel it as real as much as you possibly can whenever those key markers come up. Another one was, they congratulate me on my business success, and I instantly feel the emotions of gratitude as I embrace my family and friends. That's a key marker. Really feel the emotions of gratitude when those key markers appear within your specific scene. And intentionally have a few key markers within your 30-second to 1 minute scene that you can genuinely just really feel yourself being grateful for when those things come up. That's a key marker. Expressing to yourself how grateful you feel when X, Y, or Z happens. That's a key marker. Again, our brain cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined, so you want to feel this scene as being as real as possible. When visualizing, you can reenact this scene in the first person or the third person, switch, do whatever feels natural. That's the most important thing. But reenact it in the same pattern and do it consistently. You want to make it feel as though you were already that person, and that won't happen unless you do it consistently, on a consistent basis. So live out your scene multiple times a day. I recommend doing it first thing when you wake up and last thing before drifting off to sleep. Again, I want to just reiterate, have fun with this. When you're visualizing your scene and you open up your eyes, you should be smiling. You're putting yourself into fulfillment. Again, detached from everything in the 3D. This has nothing to do with the external. You're living your dream life, being the person you want to be within your imagination, and that's the most important thing in this moment. When you take that 30 seconds to 1 minute to visualize your dream, that's the only thing that matters. Again, you should be smiling because you literally just put yourself into fulfillment. You just felt what it would feel like to have the things that you want right now in the present moment. You trained yourself to feel the emotions of already having the things that you want, being the person you want to be in this moment. So of course you'd be happy. And when you're happy and you visualize and you have that example scene, try to carry that energy with you throughout the course of the rest of the day. If you're visualizing your scene first thing in the morning, this is how you effectively visualize. If you do this process consistently, you're going to start to feel like that person. You just will. If you want to manifest more than one thing while you're visualizing, again, what would imply you have all the things that you want to have, you are the person that you want to be within your specific scene. So just to go back to the Rachel example that I listed out, a few things that imply Rachel is the person that she wants to be is the fact that she has a successful business that implies freedom, she has an oceanfront home, she has close relationships with her friends and family, she has a loving partner, etc., etc. So what would imply you are the person you want to be and you have the things that you want to have? Input that within your specific scene. Now, while you are visualizing, it's very important to note that your intention should not be to get anything. You aren't visualizing to obtain anything. If you believe that visualizing will bring something into your life that you already do not have, your efforts will not bring you the good that you desire. The purpose of visualizing is to create the experience of the good that you desire in the present moment. Visualizing is used to experience and participate in your dream reality, in your ideal internally, right now, in this moment. You are literally partaking in your new ideal in the present moment. That's how you should think about it. You aren't getting anything. You are experiencing in this moment. You are actively participating in your ideal right now. This isn't just wishful thinking. You are placing yourself into your new reality. This is your document. This is your life. You are scripting your life. You can do whatever it is you want with it. But this is the blueprint that I've done and that what I teach. It's helped other people. It's helped me. So hopefully it can help you. But make the process as natural as it can be for you. And look at this document weekly. Look at it daily if you can. Read it out daily. This is your life. This is your dream life. And when you read it, when you look at it, when you look at those images, when you look at your character traits, when you visualize your example scene that we listed out multiple times a day while reading this document, you are putting yourself into fulfillment. And over a certain amount of time, you will literally feel like you are this person. You lived it out so many times in your head, it feels normal and natural. I guarantee you that if you do this practice, you take a couple hours, however long it's going to take you to do this, you will notice positive changes in your environment. It's going to elevate your level of energy, which is going to help you connect with your intuition, which is going to help you unlock new chapters, new opportunities are going to come to you once you get clear. That's the most important thing. Is clarity is king. Clarity is key. And once you get clear by doing this practice and using this blueprint, I guarantee you that you will notice positive shifts, profound positive shifts. So let me know if you do this practice. Let me know how it works for you. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out on Instagram at Presence of Being. Join the community over there. You can just DM me whenever. I answer all my DMs. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you're listening to this on Spotify and Apple, thank you. If you're listening to this on YouTube, thank you. And I'll see you in the next recording.